When I say the word capitalism, many people will associate it with negative things. Many people will treat the word capitalism as a bad thing, as people hoarding wealth, becoming billionaires whilst others starve in the streets. It doesn't seem right, it doesn't seem fair. Capitalism must be bad. And yet, most of you watching this video are probably reaping the benefits of said capitalism. You've been given something to watch this video on that otherwise maybe you wouldn't have had access to because of capitalism. Maybe it wouldn't have been invented if it wasn't for capitalism. And so secretly, deep down, do you really hate it? Well, that's exactly how I feel about Pearl Be Long. Because here's the thing about Pearl Be Long. It's awful. We all know it's awful. It's terrible, it's harmful, it's hurtful, it leads to very boring, dull gameplay in general. But what if there's a secret positive side deep down? Because here's the thing about Pearl. Anytime you play Pearl on defense side, the main question you gotta ask is, how am I gonna defend B? How the hell do I defend this? And you have essentially 3 different options. You could say, I'm gonna defend the site. I'm gonna play a really defensive comp, and I'm gonna play double sentinel or something like that, and I'm gonna defend this site. You watch me. I'm gonna hold it. Or you could say, I'm not gonna defend the site at all. I'm gonna play retake every single round on this B site. And so I'm gonna play double controller or double initiator or something that allows me to really retake on this site very, very heavily. Or you could say, I'm not gonna let them even get close to the site. I'm gonna be super aggressive, push up B long with a double duelist comp or something like that, and get in their face and stop them before they ever get there. And that's the beauty of Pearl Be Long. And that is exactly what is happening, because if we take a look at what Pearl is doing right now in some of these first pro games that we're now back on Pearl with, we take a look at Asian Challengers, Asian Tier 2, take a look at some of the comps. Here we go. Oh, what's this? Double duelist Neon Yoru with a KO and a Killjoy as well versus a no movement duelist comp ISO double sentinel Cypher Vice Gecko Astra. If we go back a few games as well to the Mongols' other game that they played on Pearl here versus Unsigned 5, the game we're going to take a look at, what's this? Oh, we've got again a different double duelist comp here, Yoru Jet, this time with a Sova in there instead, the old EG comp versus a Chamber Cypher with a Neon this time and a Sky. What year is this? What on earth is going on? And so basically, hopefully, Pearl's going to have a pretty interesting meta. And so now let's dive into the game. And speaking of interesting metas, let's take a look at the second round.
Anyway,
That's by the by.
control taken by Unsigned 5, who have got a fair bit invested in this round. A little bit of investment from Mongols here too. Sheriff and a Bucky for Sky is blue. He's unchecked close there. Out comes the grab well as well. That is not how you wanted that side execute to kick off for Unsigned 5.
Absolute danger territory there, pushing through A main, and yeah, not cleared. It was the utility used to perfection. And Sky is blue, still looking to try and fight this fight. They're just going to walk straight into him, and it's that.
Yes, the Neon Bucky, I think, will be here to stay unless something changes. But now let's skip ahead a couple rounds, because let's start talking about Pearl and this map, right? So the Mongols with their double sentinel Cypher Chamber comp, right, are on the defense side, and you'd expect that, hey, you know, that's going to be a pretty good defensive comp here. But Pearl is going to be interesting, I think, as a dilemma to figure out, because they're playing a double sentinel comp here, right? And you would think that obviously that's going to be very good at holding space and all of that. They are playing against a double duelist comp, so you know, a comp that should be pretty good at taking space from you, or potentially could. But the thing is, even though you're playing double sentinel, it's still tough to hold this space, right? Be Long, even playing double sentinel, is still going to be tough. It's not going to be easy to hold this, you know, pretty much no matter what you play, unless you know, really commit just everything to trying to hold this. It's never gonna be that easy. And so this is kind of the interesting thing, is you would think like, hey, double sentinel, you know, is giving us a better chance to hold this space, but In some cases, is it giving you that chance? Because as we see, like, yeah, we've got some Cypher trips set up here, but one Sova Shock Dart destroys all those trips, and now we're playing retake B. And the thing is, of course, we're playing double Sentinel, so we don't have a great retake comp to go and retake that B site. Oh, and by the way, the B post plants are still going to be a problem.
It's cleared. Both trips get cleared by one Shocky there. It's great stuff from Flaring once again.
Very aware, very smart on this agent. Here. Just this full retake. Really challenging for the Mongols right now, trying to get some information. Not really sort of spotting anything out now. The fast lane will go on through, and now that Hunter's Fury to just make sure that the round is locked in. Fixie doing further damage. Look at him go. 2 big frags. Flaring just super happy to keep them entertained. Fixie pushing forward, might be able to get another, but Cons will take him down. So it is back to this 3-on-3. Can look to pick up the Vandal now. There might be some further damage done, but no, Flaring's going to deny. And unfortunately, for the side of the Mongols, they've just run out of bloody time. There's not enough to do it, and that's going to be 5th round.
Yeah, so the B-long spam, unless you have a defensive Astro ult, probably still going to be a primary way of playing the map, and that's not going to be that fun to watch, I think. With that said, let's now flip to the other side and ask, like, okay, I get you're trying to play double Sentinel, you're trying to defend the map, but what about attacking? How do you attack with a comp like this? Well, essentially, this comp, and we're going to see it in this round, with the Neon and the Sky, you essentially have, and I guess the Astro Stars as well, you essentially have a little burst, right? You're going to have a little burst of action where you can flash, dog, slide, you know, maybe use some Astro Stars for stunts and stuff like that. And in that little burst, if you can, you know, find some value, then you have a chance. However, you will also get rounds like this, where this is where this kind of Yoru Jet comp also, you know, comes to life here, because we've got a Jet up on A, as you can see, and we've got our Yoru solo aggro pushing down B, right? And then the other 3 are kind of in mid here, and you have a Killjoy in mid as well, with, you know, Killjoy util on both sides. So, you know, at this point, the map, right, we've got up here on A, not ideal. You've got a Yoru free here to push up on B with the TP, right? Not ideal. And then you've got 3 players in mid with Killjoy stuff there as well, right? The whole map essentially is on lockdown, and that is exactly what the Mongols are going to find out, right? That as they're trying to go and push and whatnot, it's not going to go great for them. And now that their Neon is dead, you know, they have lost kind of their main win con here in these rounds as well, which is basically just sending the Neon in and hoping that they do something. And eventually that means that, you know, these guys have to react, but they're just reacting into, you know, essential death. Essentially, you know, I mean, here it's just free, right? And so this is where this kind of double duelist comp, you could see, I mean, look, this is strong, right? You would think double duelist not so good on defense. Well, no, pretty good on defense if you can get this setup going. And as you see, we end up in a 3v5. But in this particular round, what you're gonna see is that essentially, you know, U5 are going to make a pretty big mistake in just letting them back into the round. And this is a big key takeaway that you almost take away in your games. And you're only 2 players up, don't troll. 3 players up, you can do a bit of trolling. 2, no troll.
Close tight, 119, pushing way too far forward here. And now Fixie will be happy to sort of clear out that further extremity inside A long, and yeah, not really a whole lot that they can do here, the Mongols, but this is where Unsigned 5 have to be careful. They don't want to give up any more control that they've already taken, because there's one more. Seekers pop. Nexi gets another. This is the scary prospect. It's only onto Reza to try and control it. He's got the dimensional drift. Fake out will be sent, but it's just so hard. Has to go for that blind side, and now it's just a dimensional drift to try and keep them interested. But guess what? They don't care. They don't care at all. It's going to be that flank around long, looking to get onto the ramp, and they get the information, but now they've given it up. It's now a little bit dangerous. The Cosmic Divide comes out, Pilski, but this is the problem. There's so many angles that they need to try and clear, and Reza just has to try and look. It's a good grab well that forces him out. Cons gets 1. Make that a 2nd. Will it be a 3rd? No, not quite. Flaring, looking to hit those shots, but it's Cons. The chamber, the hero.
So yeah, not an ideal choice from our Astra there. Kind of cost of the round. TMV tip of the day. If you're only 2 players up, no trolling. Okay, 3 players up, you can start to troll a little bit. But here we go. Let's talk about how they still attack, though, right? Because we saw in the last round, like, they were basically just penned in. Their win % chance in that round was like, it felt like they had no chance, right? And they managed to squeeze it out because of an opponent mistake. But sometimes you're going to get a map that looks like this, right? Sometimes you're going to get a solo Astra. It's not always going to be the Yoru up here or Jet with an op or something, right? Sometimes it's going to be a pretty weak B site. And when you get this pretty weak B site, you don't really need that much at all to take it, right? Like, you don't need a great comp for taking this. You can probably just kind of walk down there a lot of the time and, you know, be okay like they are in this one, right? Where they are just going to slowly walk their way down and, hey, we're almost at the site straight away and there's only one Astra here to stop us. You're going to get these kind of rounds on Pearl. And so this is why it's an interesting dynamic, right? Of like, what do you play on this map? Because sometimes, no matter what you play, you could play the most defensive comp in the world and your attack side might still be okay. Because as long as you can just go B enough and get the spike down, well, now we're playing double sentinel and the spike is down. So you're the one who has to take the space.
And Mongols prepping themselves for this site take. They do have the Cosmic and then one off the Seekers here.
Rocket just has so much pressure on him, right? Cosmic Divide going down, as he mentioned. Fast lanes there. Trailblazer does actually hit. Is it going to punish him yet? Will. Oh, Sky is Blue absolutely ready for that right now, and they should be able to get this spike planted nice and comfortably. That's exactly right. Seekers ready to be popped now. The Nano does go through. Reza getting really, really close and towards his position. MN gets taken down. Maybe there's a chance that they find their way back into this, but Nexi, he can start to drop some utility as well, Pilski. They have to fight this, and they have to fight it confidently now. Look at the post plant all the way down long. They have to get this contest. Now looking to drop the Cloudburst. They get it to half. No, not quite. Not quite at all. Flaring has to continue to go forward, but it's just not happening. Reza, last one standing. Mongols have played round after round to absolute perfection.
So yeah, whilst the B-long spam is going to be a problem on Pearl, in terms of the agent meta, it should be pretty fun, I think, to watch, or at least I'm hopeful that it will be, because there should be a lot of different answers that teams could use, and seemingly they all kind of make some sense.